guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be another sketchbook tour video. Got some really interesting sketches in here, so I think it'll be kind of a fun one. Some of these you might have seen in my time-lapse videos, but this is, I think, where we left off in the last one. Yep, so Strathmore tone tan paper, all the sketches are in here. This first sketch is, it was kind of just, you know, sometimes I sit down and draw, thought I'd draw a girl today, and there's a few things that I don't really like on her. One, her hips. I wanted her hips to kind of be pushed out a little bit, and I didn't quite capture that. Sometimes those little, like how the body weight is distributed, those are the things that, like, as you get really good at figure drawing and things like that, you start to see a little bit better. So I feel like this area in here, like how her leg kind of connects into her groin, is just a little off. And then I just did some kind of weird little robot sketches, mixing in red Bic pen and some purple Bic pen. Just some Bic pen sketches. Just threw some marker over this guy's eye. But these were just kind of, yeah, sketching with Bic pens. I used a few different colors, the purple, the red, and then like a blue Bic pen. So this was a time-lapse drawing that I did. I really like the colors, the way the colors turned out on this one. I actually like this drawing a lot more later on, which is interesting because sometimes, most of the time, I'll do a drawing and at first I'm like, oh, this is pretty good, I like this one. And then I'll look at it a few days later and I hate it. I feel like this one's actually grown on me. It's the opposite, which rarely ever happens. When I was drawing this one, I'm like, oh, this one turned out terrible. But I actually like it a lot more. I think one of the things I added as a last minute thing was this little robot guy right here. And that definitely helped the drawing out. Sometimes I like to add little endearing things to my drawings to give it a little bit more personality. And I think that helps me like my drawings a lot more. So this, I really like the color work on this one. Lighter marker colors, I always tend to like the lighter colors a lot better than going in dark. I just feel like it looks really good on the tone tan paper. But I like the form of this one, the lower underbite on this guy. It's really modeled really well, I feel like. So yeah, like this one, like the colors. Thought it turned out pretty cool. So this is a time-lapse drawing, or yeah, one of the time-lapse drawings in the video I did, so you can watch me draw this one on the channel. But this one was okay. I did that yellow guy, and then I kind of bounced to this one. This one I really mixed in some Prismacolor pencils, like this was one of them, over the top of the markers. I actually learned some stuff on this one too, as we're like with the benefit of using colored pencils. The biggest benefit is, say you got a really dark area with the markers. If you're using markers, you can't go back. You can't like reduce that. So the colored pencils are what allow you to kind of like work subtractively, which is really fun. So that's definitely something, I'll definitely be doing more of these kind of marker colored pencil sketches in the future. So, because I really like being able to, if I go too dark, kind of pull it back a little bit. So I've been watching Moon Knight, so I was sitting there watching the show, sketching, so I decided to sketch Moon Knight. Although I call him Banana Knight because this looks like a banana, and my girls call him Banana Knight too. So, but it turned out pretty cool. My wife likes it because I did outlines on this one. I'm always torn on outlines. Sometimes just add them if I don't like the drawing too much, but this one was okay. It got really, when you're working on lighter marker colors, so sometimes those marker colors can really bring those red Bic pen lines out when I'm sketching. So that's something to be aware of. And this one's got a little bit too many sketch lines, and they're really dark on some of this stuff. I think the marker did that, but that's something, you know, it's kind of the drawback sometimes of drawing with Bic pens. Can't erase them. These were some hand sketches, working more on hands for that hand, how to draw hands video and things like that. So I was doing this for a while. This was the hand monster from that video, which I really love the colors in this. The transition from the green to the pink and the tan, the skin color in between, I felt was really effective. This is one of those things where you try and remember this for later on, because you know that transition is great. So if I use that on like a cyborg or some other character later on, I feel like that's a really effective tool, and I really like the look of it. And this drawing was just super fun. I actually had no clue that this one was going to turn out the way it did. This was just like, I want to draw hands, practice hands. I want to have a fun, creative way to show people how to draw hands. So I drew this guy, but actually ended up liking the character. And this weird little short sword is just kind of fun. So interesting. This is a funny little sci-fi weird, just super random character design type thing. This is a drawing where I have no intention really going into it. I just start drawing characters. I drew her, and she took a couple different forms before I started adding like this. She's got this big bush hair with like berries or something in it. And then this guy's got this, you know, plant growing out of his back. So I had no idea what this thing was going to be when I started it, which is a fun way to draw from imagination for sure. You don't know how things are going to turn out, so you're as surprised as the viewers who see it. So here's a little dragon sketch. This is like a dragon hunter guy. Pretty interesting. There's definitely some things I like about this one. I mean, it's just, there's something about it that doesn't quite nail it for me. It's not grand enough. It just looks, I think if I lowered the perspective to where you're looking more up at him. In particular, I'm thinking of a past drawing that I had done that really I felt like was a strong drawing, and it was this kind of guy. He was much smaller, but I don't know. Something about this one doesn't seem grand enough. But I like the dragon's design with the big teeth kind of coming out below, and the underbite I think is kind of cool. The horns are okay. The colors are super vivid and bright, which are kind of cool on this one. Kind of a cool scene. So this is an interesting sketch. So I was sketching people just randomly from imagination. So these are all just poses and stuff that I'm just sketching out on the page. And I realized like with this sketch, I went back over it so you can't see it now, but I added the muscles in afterwards because I realized like I always have a hard time with this part of anatomy. There's certain things that like I feel like I've got pretty good, maybe not 100% accurate all the time, but enough to tell a convincing story of the character form. And armpits are something that sometimes I get a little confused on. And it was these muscles that kind of pull from the lower, like from around and then tuck into where your triceps and your bicep kind of connect. So this is a good example of I'll be sketching, realize I can't draw something from imagination or realize I need to work on it, and I'll just focus on that for a while. So I'll start drawing, and I'll do it in a fun way. I won't just practice like doing sketches. I'll do that as well, but I'll make sure that when I'm drawing just characters and stuff, I'll draw them with their arms up, like in a pose like that, so that I can kind of, you know, work it in and still have fun at the same time. I think that's a really good way to go about improving. This is just like a big ogre guy. I sketched out a few different faces with red and purple big pen. Yeah, it was okay. The dark outlines on this part of the arm, because I used marker to kind of go over it, I didn't like that. So I feel like, you know, I don't like dark outlines. I like more of a natural look like this, where, you know, you got shadows that define things, but you shouldn't have dark lines around this arm at all. And they're really thick too. So even if you did go with a dark outline, you should vary the width of the line on areas where the light is definitely hitting. So your line weight can give the viewer kind of an idea of the light source as well, not just where the shadows are. This is a fun little character. She just kind of sketching around. I did a couple of little characters around her. I don't know, I thought this one was kind of cool. Like the color is really bright, and the gray skin tone, and the mouth is just, there's a lot of expression in this one, so I thought it was kind of cool. So this is the raft drawing I did. So it's the last video upload. It's a time lapse. You can watch me draw this one. But this one was okay. Like, this one made me realize, you know, I need to get back to referencing and kind of working from life a little bit more, because sometimes, you know, I draw because I want to sit down and draw. Sometimes I'm not super inspired. This one felt like a drawing that just wasn't inspired. I didn't use a real fun pose or anything like that. I just went with kind of what's safe and just to draw. And if I start doing that too much, I get like, I don't know, stagnant, and just like I stop enjoying it if I'm not being challenged. That's something about my personality where if I'm not challenging myself in anything I do, if I'm just doing it to do it, if I'm not actually improving, I get bored. So I need to be improving to actually enjoy myself. It's kind of just a thing with me. I think a lot of people probably share that. So here's some more armpit sketches. This was from some anatomy and things like that. Just kind of looking at the muscles and what they do, like when the arm's fully stretched, partially stretched, things like that. And so I'll be doing this quite a few different times over the next few weeks, or month, just really trying to nail that in and making it, you know, making it stick. So here's a character where I draw the armpits kind of in there as well. So I did a pose where I had to draw that. So this is an example of like taking those ideas and forcing myself to kind of put them to work. This guy's kind of interesting. He's like a punk, kind of like inspired by, what's that video game? Oh, I can't think of it right now. But just kind of a funny warrior punk rock type guy. They obviously exaggerated in anatomy on this one. This is just from, he's like sliding and there's bullets kind of bouncing around and stuff. So, but bright colors, you know, kind of what I was going for. I didn't finish this one, it was okay. So this is the last sketch right here. This is something, so I think for my next sketchbook tour, I'm actually gonna kind of switch things up. I hope you guys don't mind too much. But I'm planning on drawing from life and from reference for my next sketchbook tour. So all the drawings going forward for the next tour, because I feel like I've been drawing too much from imagination and not enough from life. I feel like it's important to go back and forth so that you're constantly improving, like I said, and drawing from life is definitely something I feel like helps me improve the most. Especially if I'm studying anatomy, but drawing from life, seeing things in three-dimensional space and having to see the shapes in real time, in real life, helps me, I feel like. So my daughter was drawing, and so I was just kind of sitting at the table, sketching her. And what I like to do too is, so she's moving around a ton right here, so I'm just getting glimpses of what I'm seeing. Always trying to kind of like, you know, get an idea of the overall picture, even though she's moving her arms around and constantly moving. That's why the shoulders are kind of like a little wonky, because 1 minute she had her whole body shifted sideways. So, but it still helps. I still feel like I'm looking at an object, and I'm having it, when it's constantly moving like that, you have to see the shapes kind of evolving in real time. And so translating that down to two-dimensional space is a tough exercise for sure. But one thing I like to do is if I'm drawing from life, I'll take that drawing and then interpret it from memory, just to the right or around it or something like that, just to kind of, when I see it, just translate it to what it would be like from imagination, I guess. So that's kind of a fun little thing I do when I'm drawing from life as well, when I'm just sketching. But anyway, that's the sketchbook tour, guys. I hope you liked it. It was kind of a fun one, I thought. Some interesting drawings. So anyway, look forward to showing you guys those life drawings and doing a little bit more realistic stuff just for a few weeks. So if you're bummed and you like the imagination stuff, just stick around because it's, you know, it's part of the journey. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you guys later.